Get ready with me while I tell the story of how my boyfriend totaled my car. Now, I just want to start off by saying, I know it was an accident. I know that he did not mean to. I'm not mad at him. I'm, low-key at the end of the day, I'm just glad that we're alive. But I just have to tell the story. So, my boyfriend bought me tickets to see A$AP Rocky in New York City. He knows I've always wanted to go to New York. Last time I went, it did not go too well. You guys can check out my pinned video, but it just was a total disaster. So he wanted to take me back, make it a good trip, and take me to see A$AP Rocky. Now, I have never driven super long distances, but I drive for DoorDash, so I'll be driving for 6 to 8 hours at a time sometimes. So I know that I can drive for a while if I need to. And we live in the Cincinnati, Ohio area, so that's a far drive. But I obviously thought I could make the trip no problem. So I worked a 13-hour shift, and then I started to drive, and then every 2 hours I would pull off and stop, and he would just watch me while I slept. And he wasn't driving because he has gotten in 2 accidents and literally got his license back the day we left. And at the end of the day, I know I'm responsible for the crash because I knew his driving history and I still let him drive. So at the end of the day, I made the decision. But anyways, it was getting to the point where my system was not working as well as I thought, and I needed to actually sleep for a little while so I would be able to continue safely driving. So I was like, hey, will you take over driving for an hour so I can sleep? Literally just an hour. I set my alarm and everything, and I was like, I swear to God, if I wake up dead, I'm gonna kill you. I got myself so prepared. It was almost weird how prepared I got for the crash. I made sure that my pillow was behind my head in a way that it wasn't blocking my seatbelt or the airbags. I made sure my seatbelt was laying on my chest the right way. I feel everything in me just knew, my gut was telling me, and I just refused to listen. So at the end of the day, it's my fault. Regardless, he starts driving, and about 15 minutes in, I fall asleep. I'm a really, really, really heavy sleeper, so once I'm out, and I was exhausted. So I was just sleeping in the passenger seat, and I quite literally wake up in a creek. A creek, upside down, flipped, glass everywhere, and I'm just what the hell? What the hell? He fell asleep while driving, and he hit the guardrail, and we were driving in the fast lane, and we were also in Pennsylvania when this happened, by the way, so we were 6.5 hours away from home. Forgot to add that part. But he hit the guardrail, and we were driving in the fast lane. He drug it for 50 feet, split it in half, and then it broke off, and we went off the side of the road, and then we my car just flew for 100 feet before it flipped forward. And when it flipped forward, it went up 10 feet and then down 10 more feet. So it was a total 20-foot drop, and we landed upside down in a creek. And the creek had water that was it wasn't a shallow little creek. The water was 6 inches deep. So I was looking at Colin, and I was like, we need to get out, we need to get out. And I realized that we're upside down in a creek bed, and I take off my seatbelt. I had to bust out my window with my knee, and I ended up having to get stitches on my knee because of all the glass, but I busted out my passenger window with my knee, and then Colin's seatbelt was stuck. That's my boyfriend's name. So I had to unbuckle his seatbelt and then drag him out of my car. There was a lady who pulled off who had already seen the entire thing, who had already called 911, and she just immediately started asking us if we were okay. We looking at the crash, we didn't think we were okay. We were if we are okay, it's not gonna be for long. We're in some kind of shock. We've got to be seriously hurt. I was we need to be sitting down. We shouldn't be moving right now. It was serious. There was 2 truckers from the other side of the highway, and there was a large had to have been at least 200-foot stretch of woods that was splitting both highways in half. Please ignore the henna on my hands. And these truckers, they saw us go airborne and flip over, and they pulled off on the complete opposite side of the highway, walked through all of the woods to come check on me and my boyfriend, and he immediately was letting us use his phone, letting us call our parents, just helping us out. And it was just so awesome. The only thing I could say was just thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus. I couldn't even cry because I was just looking at it, and I was the fact that we're alive, it's actually just a miracle. Looking at this, I genuinely I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, the only answer to this is Jesus Christ himself. Like, he saved us. And we went back to see my car the other day and, like, get all my belongings out of it. Everything in my car was completely intact. Everything was perfectly fine. My suitcase was there. My Sony camera was perfectly untouched. Had a little bit of water on it, but it still turned on. Everything was fine. So, I don't know. I just think it's so wonderful that, like, I don't know. Like, God just really shows up. My best friend and her boyfriend came with me and my boyfriend to go get the things out of my car at the tow yard. And her boyfriend found this, like, double-sided angel coin. I actually have it right here. But I looked it up, and you literally can't even, like, find them in the U.S. Like, they don't make them as U.S. currency. So if anyone knows, like, any coin people, please let me know. Because I just find this to be, like, so cool. They're just, like, good luck coins. I know you can see it a little bit better. But, yeah. I grew up in a very, very religious household, but over the past few years, I have been struggling with my faith just a little bit, and, like, just not having, like, the closest, like, best relationship with God. And I feel like this just, like, really, like, proves to me that, like, he is real, he is there, he loves me, he cares about me, he has a plan and a purpose for my life, and he does for all of you too. So just wanted to let you all know that. And yes, my boyfriend will be replacing my car, so there's, like, nothing wrong there. I had to get stitches, a CT, and MRI in the hospital, and he had a broken collarbone. But, like, other than that, we were completely fine, like, hardly a scratch on us. And I'm doing great today. I go back to work next Monday, so yeah. Another thing this has really helped me realize is that we really should be living our lives to the absolute fullest, because we never know when they're gonna end. Anyways, that is all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye, guys.
Make a little story time about my experience at a nail salon. My younger sister is going on a mission, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna treat her to get her toes done so that she's ready for the MTC and ready for her mission. I only got my toes done one other time, okay, and it was the day before I had my daughter, because my mom was like, girl, your feet's gonna be up in stirrups, you need to have them done. I just don't like people touching my feet. I think that's weird. So we go to this salon, who, mind you, my older sister has gone to for 5 years. Literally raves about this place. And so does my mom, okay? My whole family has gone there, all right? Know what pedicure thing we even chose, all right? That doesn't matter, okay? They're getting to the point where they take, like, that little sandpaper thing and they, like, sandpaper your heels, okay? And I felt like she took the sandpaper and went a little bit on the back of my heel. And I, like, pulled away and I was like, oh, ow, that hurt. And she was like, oh, sorry. Moved on with our time. She did that 2 other times. And I, like, pulled away and I was like, ow, and then I see my foot start to bleed. Okay, the back of my heel starts to bleed. I'm, like, texting my little sister and I'm like, oh, gee, she just cut me, like, I'm bleeding, like, what do I do? And she's like, we should just tell the person, like, at the front. So they also got our color wrong. They got my little sister's color wrong, and we asked for, like, this, like, it was light pink, but it wasn't, like, an opaque pink. It was, like, pretty solid color, okay? And so I had to, like, speak up and asked for a different color. I was like, oh, I don't think that that's the color that we chose. Like, can we get the one that we chose? And she, like, I thought her eyes were gonna get stuck with how bad she rolled her eyes at me. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna be bothered by it. I'm paying, like, a decent amount of money for a pedicure. Kept rolling her eyes. We go up to the front and we go to pay, and I was like, hey, I just, like, totally fine, but I just, like, wanted you guys to know, like, the lady that did my foot, she did cut me, like, I am bleeding. And the manager and the manager's son spoke perfect English. Everybody else is kind of iffy, okay? The manager comes over and she was like, where on your foot? And I'm, like, showing her, and she was like, my lady didn't do that. And I was like, okay, well, she did. Like, I didn't come in with a cut. She didn't. And I was like, it's okay. I just want to, like, prevent this from happening to anybody else. She pulls the 2 girls that did me and my sister's toes up to the front. The entire salon goes quiet. And she starts yelling at me. And it's like, my girl didn't do that. Did you do this? You didn't. She didn't do this. She didn't do this. And she was like, the lady was like, I did not do that. There's no way I did that. I didn't do that. And I looked at her dead in the eyes and I was like, I'm so sorry. I literally pulled away while you were doing it. And I said, ow, that hurt. And you said, so sorry. And it happened 2 separate times. And she looked at me and said, that didn't happen. You're a liar. She's literally yelling at me saying, you're a liar. You need to stop lying. And I was like, guys, I'm not sitting here trying to ask for a refund. I am now, but I'm not sitting here asking for a refund. I'm literally just telling you, hey, You cut me. It's one of the highest places to get an infection at, and you literally just created an open wound. The poor son of the manager is like, mom, she's saying she got cut. She's saying she got cut. You have to do something. And she's like, my lady didn't do anything. There's no way, like, she's a liar. She needs to stop lying. The whole salon is quiet listening to this happen. And I was like, you know what? The son's like, we need to do something about it. Like, you need to get it clean. And I was like, you know what? It's okay. Like, I just want to take my receipt and I want to go. So we leave, and she's like, you get out of here, you liar, all this stuff. And I'm like, so I leave, and literally as we are driving home, my sister gets out of the car, her toenail polish starts to peel. And I was like, I just paid money for this, what the heck? So I called him, and I was like, hey, my sister's toes are peeling, and like, I got cut. And she was like, I'm the manager, I just talked to you, you need to stop saying that, you need to stop being a liar, and like, all this stuff. And I was like, okay. My sister's toenail polish is cut. I was like, my sister's toenail polish is falling off. Like, can we just get a refund? Like, at this point, like, she was like, we don't believe in refunds. That's against our policy. And I was like, all right, okay. So I was like, she was like, your sister, like, have her come back in. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable with that. Like, I got my foot cut. Like, I'm not gonna put my sister in that situation. I already wrote a bad review, and I put a picture of my heel. My heel that is literally rubbed raw. It doesn't look like a blister. It doesn't look like anything like that. It literally is rubbed raw from the sandpaper. She was like, okay, well, we'll give you a gift card if you take your bad review down. And at that point, that pisses me off. I hate when companies, that's why you don't find bad reviews on places, because they're literally bribing people to take them down. That's what pisses me off. No, absolutely not. I'm keeping my freaking, what, you're gonna give me a gift card so I can go back? I'm never going back. I'm literally never going back. I'm not gonna let you give me a gift card to take down my bad review, and that was my experience that happened. Okay, so she's screaming at me on the phone, and I'm like talking to my mom, and my mom's like, I'm so pissed off at her, yeah, like, this is terrible, because she made like such a scene. It was so embarrassing. And then to be like, oh, I'll bribe you to take it down? Absolutely not. So I just hung up the phone and went on my way. But am I crazy for getting my foot cut and saying what happened, and then them saying, well, we'll bribe you to take it down? Oh, and here's the salon, so that you guys never go.
One of my sneaky links past sneaky links found my TikTok. I knew it was only a matter of time, but still, I always get texts when I start my TikTok. I am married, but I used to be a freaking nightmare when it came to dating. I know that. Luckily, my husband was majoring in psychology, and he knew what was up. He could handle the crazy. I mean, I was textbook anxious attachment style. Doors by Noah Kahan is my jam. Someone said I should estrange myself from this foundation shade. That's actually a funny joke. But guys, I fake tan. My foundation matches my tan. Leave me alone. I feel like people don't get it when I say that I was like truly like, I remember there was this one guy that I really liked. I did this for my husband too, but he actually liked me back. So there was a different ending for sure. There was this guy, Jace, if you're seeing this, I'm sorry. There was this guy, okay, my freshman year of college. I was head over heels for this guy. I have no idea why. Bro did not like me. He was nice to me, but we met on a Mormon dating app. Hold on, my pineapple chunks are sold out and I have to switch it. He would have, if he sees this, he's probably like, yoicks. He would have lacrosse practice till like 12 a.m. They would do it at like 10:30 for some reason. I would make dinner. I wouldn't just give him like leftovers that I had made. No, I would start making dinner. Another freaking replacement. The store has nothing today. I would start making this man dinner at 11 p.m. because I just felt, I was like, this is so sad. And I liked him, and I was like, okay, if I show him that I'm wifey material, he'll like me. I thought the only way someone could show that they like liked you, loved you, whatever, was if they wanted to marry you. It's painful to even think about now. That's a one-way street to getting taken advantage of, okay? He actually was very nice and respectful about it. He always said thank you. Did kind of have a falling out because I was like, bro, I like you. And he was like, yeah, that's not reciprocated. I think I said you could keep the Tupperware. He probably clocked that was passive aggressive, and he brought it back. I was so bad. I was low-key psychotic. Once I drove an hour and a half to go hang out with a guy, and I got there at like 9 p.m. Oh my gosh. I know this kid thinks I'm a psycho because he told me, he was like, you're crazy. And when I found out it was basically just like a booty call, listened to the same song the whole way home. I was so depressed after. Oh my gosh. I kid you not, this was me. So sad, so depressing, so embarrassing. Oh my hell. Remember when I was dating my husband? We were in Walmart getting some groceries for like his mom or something. We're walking to checkout and we walk past an aisle and out of my whatever, see this kid. I see my husband like wave and I like stop dead in my mother freaking tracks and I'm like, who was that? He goes, full visceral reaction. I was like, you know him? How do you know this guy? I mean, you grew up here, so it makes sense. It was like, surprise, it was a guy I liked and he was just yesing me. And I was totally the type he would like ghost. I'd send a text saying I really liked you, like, but now I hate you. That was me. Because I grew up in a town where people didn't really like, they didn't really date if they didn't like each other. The thought of me going on a date with someone that just wanted, you know, kind of a foreign concept. Not gonna lie. If you die. I don't know if you guys can tell through my videos, but I'm kind of going through like the 5 stages of grief. Is there 5? Maybe there's more. I don't know, but it's like backwards in a way. Literally what my TikTok is. It's like current. I'm like going through it. Anyways, I never even met this man and he ghosted me. Literally couldn't get out of bed. When I like low-key self-diagnosed myself with ADHD, this was one of the things that made a lot of sense to me. The all or nothing attitude, the rejection sensitivity dysphoria. Holy shit. I also think of when guys would like invite me over to their house to like spend the night. I like couldn't sleep. I would like literally stay up all night like shaking for some reason. I was just like so terrified. I don't know. My husband was actually the first guy. It's like, yeah, you can stay over. And then this guy that I couldn't get out of bed for. I had my bosses calling me like, are you okay? Are you dead? I wanted to be. I would like mute all my messaging apps except for this guy because if anybody texted me, it would like ruin my day because I would think it was him. Ugh, I'm so embarrassed. One of my comments, I was looking through my filtered comments because yeah, I filter comments. I'm not cut out for that. And someone said, what happened to your knee? Clean your knee. Bruh, I self-tan. I had just been to the lake and it's a cold ass lake, so I had my wetsuit on. I think it's a 4.3 millimeter wetsuit. Okay, that's thick. It rubbed my tan right off except for on my knees, okay? And then I dry shaved after that and it just like cut my knee. Like, don't be mean. I'm low-key thinking about going back to lash clusters. I think they looked so good. Thank goodness that's over. If you made it this far, thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one.
Story time of how a doctor, a pharmacist, and a medication called Reglan almost killed me at 17. Seen my last video, you know what I'm talking about. This is going to be the long version of everything that happened. It may have to be multiple parts because it did span over 4 years and the symptoms have honestly still kept going until today. I've actually never talked about this publicly before or online at all. My hometown didn't even really know that it was going on, except my close family and friends around me knew it was happening when it was happening. But I wanted to share it now just as part of my testimony and to bring awareness to what can happen in the medical field if you are blindly trusting them and not doing your own research, and awareness to the medication Reglan and just how dangerous it is. So like I said in my last video, this started when I was 13 years old. I had stomach issues all of a sudden. I hated school, and honestly probably what it was just a little bit of anxiety because I was having to go to school and I hated it so bad. But I was just bound and determined that there was something wrong with my stomach, so my mom took me to one of the only pediatric gastroenterologists in our area, and he prescribed me the medication Reglan. He did a gastroscope, and come to find out, he said that I had GERD. Well, you don't know what that is, look it up. So he prescribed me the medication Reglan. I was supposed to take it twice a day, and I did. My stomach issues seemed to get better. I was thriving. I was doing so much better than I was before, so I continued to take the medication every day, 2 times a day. Because he was a highly recommended pediatric gastroenterologist, my mom never questioned anything, as most people don't when you go to the doctor. You feel like you are supposed to be able to trust them, and they're the ones that spent the 12 years in medical school to know what they're doing, and you trust them. Fast forward to when I was 15 and I finally started my period for the first time. I ended up bleeding for like 140 days straight. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I was in and out of the hospital. They put me on birth control. It still didn't stop it. It was just a really bad situation, and nobody could figure out why until one day my doctor was like, just take off, I did the birth control patch. She was like, just take off the patch and see what happens. So I did, and the bleeding finally stopped. Everything got normal. I still continued to take the birth control, and everything was fine. Fast forward again, I was 16. I went on a cruise with my grandparents, and I got back from the cruise, and I started burping all the time, and nobody could figure out why. My mom took me back to the pediatric gastroenterologist that I had seen before. He done another gastroscope, did a biopsy this time, and it come back clean, and all he could assume was that it was still just the GERD, but I had never been burping before, and it was really bad. So I continued to take the Reglan like he said, and that was that. Fast forward to me being 17, I went on a beach vacation with my boyfriend and his family. The whole time I was there, I was having so much fun. I wasn't even thinking about my stomach hurting, and it never hurt the whole time I was gone, so that didn't trigger me to remember to take my medicine. So I went a whole week without any medication whatsoever. When I got home, I had told my mom, like, hey, you know what? My stomach actually hasn't hurt in a while, and I haven't been taking my medication. And we thought, well, I just got better, but other symptoms started. I had like racing thoughts really, really bad, and they weren't good thoughts. It was actually pretty scary, and I kept telling my mom, something's just not right. I just don't feel right. Like, I think there's something wrong with me. I started having really bad anxiety. So she took me to my OBGYN, and she switched my birth control because she thought maybe that is what was causing that. And come to find out, it was not the birth control, so I ended up going back to the birth control that I was originally on. Symptoms just kept getting worse and worse. So after I had racing thoughts, it developed into severe anxiety. I couldn't control my emotions. My mood was like all over the place. One minute I was laughing, one minute I was crying. I got really angry at little bitty things. I had really, really bad rage. And then it finally developed into full-blown seizures. So at that point, my mom started taking me to a neurologist. Went to the hospital by ambulance multiple times during this, and no one could ever explain the seizures. They didn't know why they were happening, where they were coming from, what was going on in my body to cause all of this to happen. Nobody had any answers whatsoever. Every time we would go to the hospital, my mom would tell them, like, hey, she was on the medication Reglan, she stopped suddenly, I think this is what's causing that. No doctor would ever admit that that was what was causing it. So my mom got to doing her own research about the medication Reglan, and come to find out it's an antipsychotic. It's also classified as an amphetamine, and because I had stopped taking it abruptly, it caused withdrawal. This medication was actually black boxed in, I think, 2009, and was not supposed to be given to people under the age of 18. Mind you, I was 13 when I was prescribed this, and it also wasn't supposed to be taken over 12 weeks, and I was prescribed it for 4 years, 2 times a day. No one ever caught that this was black boxed and should not be given to a child, or that I should not be taking it this long. One night I started having a seizure, and they tried to put me in the vehicle to take me to the hospital, and I was seizing so bad, and I was like, all of my muscles and stuff were so stiffed up that they ended up having to call the ambulance. I'll never forget looking up at this guy. He kind of looked like Santa Claus, and he was an EMT, and he looked at me and he said, what have you taken? Like, you have to be coming down off of meth. And he looked at my mom and he was like, has she been on meth? Is she actively on meth? And my mom was like, what are you talking about? No. And he was like, well, the way that her body is reacting is the same that we see with people coming off of methamphetamine. I was seizing so bad they had to strap me down to the gurney, and I actually broke the restraints on the gurney. And at one point, I remember I looked up at the monitor in the ambulance, and my heart rate was up to 300. And the guy put his hand on my arm, and he was like, sweetie, if you don't try to calm your body down, you're fixing to have a heart attack. That was one of the scariest nights of my life, and I will absolutely never forget it. I remember laying in the hospital, and I couldn't even sleep. I was having seizures in my sleep, and I remember my now husband was my boyfriend at the time. He prayed over me in the room, and like stopped everybody in their tracks because of the prayer he was praying. He literally like prayed me back to life. I think it was that night and that trip to the ER that we had a military doctor that was filling in for somebody at the hospital, and he was like, I'm gonna go look up Reglan. So he looked it up, he come back and he was like, you do know that that can cause seizures and withdrawals, right? And my mom was like, thank you. Finally, somebody who believes me. He recommended that we go see a neurologist, so that's what we did. And the neurologist I'll never forget this day. She shut the door. It was me and my mom in there, and she was making me really nervous. Like, she was asking me a lot of hard questions that was like she didn't believe me and she didn't believe my mom, and she thought that we were crazy, and it made me have a seizure because my seizures were triggered by big emotions. And she looked at my mom and she said, "This is not a seizure. Your daughter has been sexually abused." And so in my mom's head, she starts spinning, thinking like, oh my God, surely not, like there's no way. And I told my mom, like, no, nothing like that has ever happened to me. My mom worked for DCS, so she done whatever she could to protect me and my brother my whole life, and nothing like that had ever happened to me. The doctor was just crazy and wanted to blame it on something else. So it was actually her co-worker, I can't even remember her name. She was my saving grace. She finally seen me one day, and she was the first doctor to really believe me 1000%, because she had to testify in court against doctors who had prescribed Reglan and been in cases where Reglan had almost killed somebody. At one point, I had even been transferred to Vanderbilt Children's Hospital, and they didn't even believe me that this medication or this doctor could have been at fault for what happened to me. During my mom's research, to go back to the period thing, she found that this medication can also cause menstrual problems, and it can cause severe bleeding, it can cause abnormal periods, and we believe that that was one of the symptoms. It also causes a thing called tardive dyskinesia, which is involuntary body movements, and we believe that's what the burping was. Tardive dyskinesia is a symptom of long-term use of Reglan. I've run out of time, so y'all are going to have to go to part 2. This is part 2 of how a doctor, a pharmacist, and a medication called Reglan almost killed me at 17. If you haven't seen part 1, go back and watch that and then come to this video. So we left off thinking that I had tardive dyskinesia, which is the involuntary body movements caused by the long-term use of Reglan, and that was what caused the burping, it caused the menstrual problems, it caused all kinds of problems. In all of this, I also couldn't hold my bladder. It was like I had no control of my bladder at all, which we also think was the tardive dyskinesia. For a little while, they had me on a seizure medication, a migraine medication, and who knows what else. I was also put on Lexapro for the severe anxiety that everything had caused, and I still take that to this day, which I found out is probably not good for me either, and I've tried to wean off, but it got really bad. So I've also never had panic attacks in my entire life. I never had anxiety really much, maybe just a little bit, but nothing ever the way that I have it now, and it caused me to have severe panic attacks. At the time, I didn't know what they were. Now I do, and I've had to be prescribed medication for the panic attacks. Reglan just completely dysregulated my whole entire nervous system and fried it pretty much. The good thing is, though, the seizures stopped, the migraine stopped, so as it's slowly been working out of my system over the last several years, it's definitely gotten better. It's just the anxiety and the panic attacks now that I deal with, which hopefully I'll be able to come off that medication soon, and I'll be 100% better by the grace of God. So I didn't even realize how often that this medication was prescribed, and I had a friend who had just had a baby, was having trouble breastfeeding, and they prescribed Reglan to her to help her milk supply. I've also heard it being prescribed to pregnant women for acid reflux. And so if you or somebody you know is taking Reglan, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to look it up, research about it, and wean off. Do not stop taking this medication or any medication cold turkey. I remember one night, it was actually the night I was telling y'all about where the EMT looked like Santa Claus. My dad was holding me because that's all he knew how to do, was just hold me, you know, when I was going through that. I can't imagine watching, now that I'm a parent, I can't imagine watching my child go through something like that. I know it was incredibly hard for my parents and my boyfriend, who is now my husband, but I have a cross tattoo on my finger because I used to wear a cross ring right there, and I remember my dad rubbing that one night when he was holding me before the ambulance got there, and he was like, just remember who's got you, just remember who is holding you in his hands. And it was like that moment, it was like the Lord just spoke to me, and he was like, you're gonna be okay. I know it seems really hard, and it's gonna get really hard, but you're gonna be okay. So in the midst of all of that going on, I went and got this tattoo, which says be still, because I felt like that's what he was saying to me in that time where I felt like I could not be still. I felt like that was the last thing on earth that I could possibly do, was be still, when my whole body was abandoning me. And he just still reminded me in that moment that he loves me, and he's got me, and he's standing there beside me, and he's already went before me and paved the way to know that I'm gonna be okay. So as of today, I'm still working through detoxing that out of my system because I took it for so long. Who knows how long it's gonna stay in my system? Hopefully not much longer, but that's all I can do, is just pray and trust God that he's already went before me again and made the way for it to be okay in the future. And I wanted to share this as my testimony and maybe reach out and help somebody if you have had any of this happen to you, or you've been neglected by the medical system, or you felt abandoned by them. I pray that you do your research, you find your way, and your faith and your trust and your hope, put all of that in the Lord, and he will take care of you ultimately. And I just wanted to bring awareness to this medication and what can happen if you don't advocate for yourself. A doctor, a pharmacist, and a medication called Reglan almost killed me at 17, so this is a part 3. If you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, go back and watch those. I thought I would do a part 3 to kind of answer some questions and some comments that I got on my last 2 videos. First thing that I wanted to address is in the first or second part, I think it was in the first part, I said that it was an antipsychotic. What I meant by that is that it is almost identical to the old antipsychotics that they used to use back in the day. It is not technically classified as an antipsychotic, but if you look it up on Google, do a quick Google search, they are almost identical. The second thing I wanted to address was calling it an amphetamine. What I meant by that was that I had an amphetamine reaction to it in my body, and like I said, the EMTs thought I was coming off of meth because it reacted in my body that way. You can also Google it and see that it does have several effects like an amphetamine would. And in rare cases, it can also cause you to fail a drug test, which did happen to me when I was in high school on the cheer team. We had to do drug tests, and I did fail because I was taking Reglan. I got several comments of people saying, don't blame the doctor or the pharmacist, that was not their fault, and it 1000% was their fault. So to explain that a little bit, the reason that the doctor is 1000% to blame is because he was a pediatric gastroenterologist. He was the top of his class at Vanderbilt when he graduated med school, and very, very highly recommended because he was one of the only ones in our area. And I was a child. I was 13 years old when he prescribed me this medication, and this went on for 4 years, and I only seen him maybe 3 times over the span of 4 years. He just kept filling that prescription with no questions asked. He never asked to check up on me. He never asked if I was having any symptoms from the long-term use. And he was an older doctor, so he was around when this medication was first being used. Most of the time, doctors require you to come back to them, to see them, to check up on you, to see if you need to keep that medication going. He never asked to see me, so therefore I do fault him for that. And somebody who was top of their class in med school should have known to do their research, should have known that it was black boxed for long-term usage, should have known I was taking it way longer than the 12-week usage. And also the fact, again, that I was a child. People had said, don't blame the pharmacist, it's not their fault. I do also fault the pharmacist because I was never made aware of the side effects. I was never made aware of it only supposed to be used for 12 weeks. They never caught it in the 4 years that I had taken it. They never questioned it, not one time. And honestly, y'all, I live in an extremely small town where everybody knows everybody, and they knew that I was coming back over and over and over again to refill that prescription, and no one ever thought to mention, hey, did you know this has a potential side effect of tardive dyskinesia? Did you know this was not supposed to be taken over 12 weeks? No one ever questioned anything. Another thing I wanted to address was people said I should have sued them, I should have had a malpractice lawsuit, things like that. And at the time, we did look into that sort of thing, but here's the thing. The doctor never actually told me to discontinue use. It was just something that kind of naturally happened as I got older and I was a kid and I forgot to take it. And they call it a practice for a reason. It was also going to be extremely hard to find a doctor that would testify against him and attest to all of the symptoms and the harm that he had caused me. Personally, think this medication should be banned. I think it should be illegal and taken off the market, and honestly, no one will change my mind on that. I think there are much safer alternatives with less side effects or even less severe side effects. You can go back and read through my comments on my last 2 videos of the hundreds of stories of people that have had terrible interactions with this drug, and it almost took their life as well, and I think that warrants for it to be banned. If there was ever a way I could go back and change anything, it would be this whole situation. I would have never put it in my mouth to begin with. Honestly, this medication ruined my life. It ruined a big part of my life. Prior to this happening, I was the life of the party, happy-go-lucky kid. I was really goofy, and it honestly just changed a lot of who I was, and sometimes I wonder who I would be if I had never taken it. At the end of the day, I can't go back and change it, but I make these videos to maybe help somebody else. If you've been through this, or if you're going through this currently, or if you've been prescribed this medication, I just encourage you to please do your research, look it up, look up the side effects, and just be cautious with trusting a medication like this. I do believe there is a time and a place for modern medicine. I think we do need it, but I also trust in the Lord and the medicine that He has given us. He is the ultimate physician. He has the final say, and I just hold on to that, and I hope you can too.
I was 16 years old, I stole a car. Or at least that's what my mother told the cops. The story right now obviously cracks me up, but at the time it was scary and traumatic, and I cried a lot. The story starts when I was 16. I obviously lived at my parents' house. I worked at a soda shop that was literally a mile from our house, okay? It was after school, and we had chores to do. I had done all of my chores but one. Well, and this is the part I don't remember. I don't remember if it was I completely didn't do the chore, or I'm pretty sure I did like 95% of it, but I had like missed a spot. It was dusting the shelves on the entertainment center. But I had a shift at my job, and so I was like, okay, I have to go. My mom was like, no. And I was like, I have to go. She's like, you need to do this. And I was like, no, I have to go. Like, it's a job. Again, I only worked a mile away, and I was also a straight A student. I was working, obviously. I was a good child. Then she's like screaming at me, and I'm like, no, I literally have to go. And at the time I was driving the car that me and my sister were sharing. It was like kind of like a family car, but obviously it was under my parents' name and their registration and everything, but I was paying for the gas. I paid my car insurance, but it was my parents' car that we were sharing at the time. Anyways, so obviously my mom was like, no, you can't go, and we're like screaming, and I'm like, no, I have to go. It's a job. I cannot be late. I'm still like, sure, I literally think I just didn't move the figurine that was on the shelf, and so I didn't dust underneath it, and I think that's literally all that I didn't do. This is a full-on like screaming match. Like, she's like screaming her head off. So then I take the keys and I go to work, because I was like, I don't want to be late and I don't want to get in trouble. But I had done all of my other chores, all of them. I'm like pretty sure I like cried on the way to work, because like when my mom like would scream and stuff, she was never kind. She would say horrible things and was obviously very aggressive. The drive was like not even a 5-minute drive to work. So I got there, I'm like working, I'm chatting, and then all of a sudden a policeman walks in. I'm not kidding. I instantly knew that he was there for me. I knew it. I knew it. Like, I just had a gut feeling. I'm pretty sure I instantly started crying. He goes, hey, does Akira Hamlet work here? Bawling. Tears falling from my face. I was like helping customers at that time. This is my place of work, you know? Like, I have my coworkers, my boss is there. I'm obviously like sobbing, because I'm like, this is the most embarrassing, most awful thing that's ever happened. And so then he's like, hey, can we go talk outside? I'm instantly sobbing, because I'm like, oh my gosh, my parents literally called the cops on me. They called the cops on me. Told them that someone stole the car. They didn't exactly say, oh, our daughter took the car to work. Like, this is the family car. They just like called the police and said, hey, someone stole our car. I'm sure this is probably like 30 minutes to an hour into my shift when he came in. And my dad totally also was involved in this, but my mother was the instigator, but he was the supporter. Again, not even 5 minutes from the house. It's not like I was out with friends. It's not like I was being a rebel. Like, I was like freaking doing weed and sneaking out of the house. I don't know. You'll have to tell me if you think that's crazy. But I met with them, told them that somebody stole the car, and then they found it, and they were like, and then I think they eventually like fessed up and told them that it was me that had the car. And then he came to my place of work, and he was like very, very kind. I mean, I was a 16-year-old girl. I was obviously hysterical. So I'm talking to him, and he was like, this is normally like a family matter. This is not something that they honestly would normally take care of, because that's just so crazy. But he was very nice, and honestly, I ended up talking with him about emancipation and different things, because my household life was very bad. Like, this is just like a mere blimp in my childhood. Yeah, I talked to him for probably like 20-30 minutes outside, and he was like, you can't do that, this is not like your property or not. And I can't remember exactly. I know I was paying for gas, I know I was paying for insurance, but I don't remember exactly what else I was paying for the car. So I'm not gonna say anything else, because I'm like, I don't want to lie or give not the full truth. And I like told him my side of the story, and he was very kind. I think he totally could understand where I was coming from, and kind of was like, huh? He brought up emancipation, and if I wanted to, and I'm like, okay, so you've met my mother, you talked to my mother, because I'm sure she was probably crashing out at him. So then he basically just told me that my parents were gonna come pick up the car, and I needed to find a ride home or walk home. I'm pretty sure my shift ended at like 9:30 that night. Luckily, I was really good friends with all my coworkers and stuff, but he eventually leaves, and I have to go back into work. I'm obviously still sobbing, because that was the most embarrassing thing ever, and my coworkers are like, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? So they had all heard different stories and different things about my home life, just like what happened before I came into work, or, you know, just different things. And so they were all like really nice and really sweet. And then my boss was like really nice and was like, hey, you know, you can just like take a minute. And I was like, I was so worried that I was like literally gonna get fired from my job. That's like what was going through my brain. And I'm like, I'm like, it makes me emotional thinking about it, because like I remember being so emotional. And I was like so afraid I was gonna get fired from my job, because like who has the cops come in after like to the jobs, like freaking drug dealers and things. And I was convinced I was gonna get fired, but my boss was nice. But I'm sure I was like, oh my gosh, what is everyone thinking? All the freaking customers probably think I'm crazy. Like, oh my gosh, it was just awful. It was awful, because I also have a lot of anxiety with getting in trouble ever. So it was like my literal nightmare. So I went along with my shift, and I ended up with that, and then I literally didn't speak to my parents the rest of the night, but then I just had to go back to normal life. And I literally was like, why would you call the cops? And they literally they didn't think anything was wrong with it. And like, am I in the minority for thinking that that is crazy? When a officer gets a call, everything obviously is like reported and kept history of and everything, and so that is like on my history. If you pull up my name now, my last name has changed, so I'm not sure if it like will pull up immediately. There's a term called like breach of trust, like if it's like a family dispute. I think that's probably what's on it now, but I'm not 100% sure. And that was the time that my parents reported to the police that I stole their car. And if you guys don't know, like, the police take stolen cars very seriously. I can't believe you would literally do that. Like, what if that is, like, forever? Like, I was literally, like, a freaking car felon for the rest of my life. Like, what do you mean? Like, you would risk, I mean, what? There are so many details that I don't even remember, I'm sure, of, like, what the officer told me. But he, like, still was upset with me. Like, I still got in trouble. Like, I wasn't like he took me to jail or handcuffed me, but I literally thought I was like gonna freaking go to jail and lose my job. I just think it's ironic how I'm apparently a car thief, but I'm now like married to a cop. I think that's very funny. Well, I think it's also kind of hilarious, because I was like low-key afraid of cops when I was a kid, because my mom would low-key get in trouble with them for like road rage things. I just remember being in the back seat when we were kids, and I would get so scared, because I'd be like, oh my gosh, they're gonna take my mom away, they're gonna do these things, but low-key they should have.
Get ready with me when I tell you the craziest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Flashback to my freshman year, I was dating this guy, let's just call him Peter. I'd been dating him for like probably 2 months at this point, and the thing you need to know the most is he lived 20 miles away from me. We didn't go to the same school, and we met through a mutual friend, and obviously we didn't have our license because we were freshmen, so we would only see each other on the weekend, and only if our parents could drive us. Okay, and another thing you need to know is that Peter was friends with, let's just call him Ned, and Ned like was a mountain biker, like his hobby was biking. So one night he was talking to my other friend. They weren't dating, but they were talking. And
he decided to bike over to her house. Now, her house was closer than mine to his, so it was probably only 10 miles. And by the way, he did this at like 2 a.m. It's the first time this happened. It's like the day before I'm leaving for Mexico because it was spring break. And Peter was like, oh, like, can I come over? Like, can I sneak out and come over? Because I'm not gonna be able to see you for like a week. And I was like, sure. So he bikes to my house just like Ned did. So anyway, the first time that he does this, everything goes amazingly fine. Like, it was actually the night of my first kiss, ironically. But everything worked out. He biked the 20 miles. He got home at like really late, but you know, it worked, whatever. By the way, this was all done on the highway because like there wasn't like a small street that he could take that like would get him back as quick as the highway. So he was literally biking on the side of the highway at 3 a.m. I think maybe about 2 weeks later, I'm like back from spring break and he's like, wait, I want to see you, like blah blah blah, can I bike over again? And like, I'm not gonna say no because like I'm not the one who's biking for 40 miles, like. And also, to be honest, I thought it was kind of like nice that like a guy would like do all that just to come see me for like 2 hours. So anyway, he comes over and everything's like going so far so good. Like he gets to my house, everything's chill. Eventually he has to leave because it's like, I want to say 3, maybe 4 a.m. at this point. I was exhausted. So like I was like trying to stay up just to make sure he got home fine. But I was like half asleep when I get a text and it's all caps, Lauren, which is my name. So immediately I'm like, oh no, like what's going on? And he calls me and he's like, oh my god, I just got chased by the cops. I'm running on foot. He quickly hangs up after that because he's like, I gotta go, I gotta run. And I'm like, oh my god. Basically what had happened is he was about to get onto the highway. So he wasn't on the highway. And where I live, cops like to camp like where the highway starts. So they saw him and they like started chasing him because why is there like a literal teen like kid biking on the highway at 5 a.m. Well, his dumbass started biking down into the woods, into the ditch. He ran into a barbed wire fence, popped his bike tire, and started running away. Well, the cops didn't end up catching him that night. Somehow, I don't know. I guess they didn't think it was important enough, but the bike was left. Okay, that's really relevant. The bike was left stuck on a barbed wire fence in a ditch on the side of the highway. What happened with him is he started hitchhiking with just some random guy, and he got to like a random store and he slept outside the store and started throwing up and puking until one of my other friends' grandmas went and got him. But like the story is not over. So basically, about 2 days later, Peter texted me and he's like, hey, is there any way you can go and get my bike? Like, I kind of need my bike. So the bike was probably like maybe 5 miles from my house. So me and my best friend are like, fine, we'll go get the bike for you. So we walk 5 miles to the ditch. We find out it's not just in a random ditch, it's on somebody's property. It's like a farm. So at this point, me and my best friend are like, okay, like we might as well just go because we already walked 5 miles to get here. So basically we start running through this field because there's like a field where the barbed wire fence is. It's like if this is the field, the fence is here where the bike is, but it's like far down. Actually, I think I have a video of this, so let me insert it right here if I can find it.
It's all his tires popped.
Yeah.
Well, how are we gonna get it?
For some reason, we decided that I would hop over the fence and go get it, but my best friend was wearing pants and I was wearing shorts and it was a barbed wire fence. I hop over this fence and I get the bike and my ankles are like covered in mud. Like the mud went up to like my knees basically. And there was thorns everywhere, which we didn't see before, and then the barbed wire fence. So I got scratched all up my right leg. Like I still have scars from this. My leg is profusely bleeding. It hurts so bad. Like I can still remember the pain. Like I couldn't walk. But we still had to walk the 5 miles home with the bike, and the bike had a popped tire. So we had to lift up the back and roll one tire forward. I think we got like halfway back to my house before like my leg was like
bleeding so much that like we had to stop it because people were like asking if I was okay and we didn't know what to do. My best friend goes into McDonald's and gets like a cup of ice water and we pour it on my leg, and when I tell you I started sobbing from like the pain of like just walking on it for like 2.5 miles and then just like ice cold water on like a huge open wound. Oh my god. Somehow, some way we get back to my house and we put it, like my house we have like it's not a basement, it's like storage under our house, but it's not attached to inside our house, so we just use it for like outdoor storage. I don't know what that's called. It's like a big crawl space basically. We just toss it in there and you know what, whatever. I'm not gonna be able to get it to him for a little bit, so whatever. Also, I'm gonna insert a few photos and videos of like my leg because it was bad. Well, after all of that effort of going to get that fucking bike, guess what? He breaks up with me a week later. After, I don't know, maybe a month, I've had this bike under my crawl space or whatever it's called. And my parents are telling me, hey, we're gonna clean out the crawl space in like a week. Can you help us? And my first thought is fuck the bike. So what I do is I have like a creek behind my house and I go and I throw the bike into the creek. Oh. There it goes. After me and Peter broke up the first time, we actually had an on and off again thing for 3 years. We get back together, I think it was the second time. He was like, hey, like I know this is kind of random, but can I have my bike back? And I'm like, oh fuck, I threw it into a creek. I think he knew about that because I told Ned about me throwing it into the creek and they're like best friends, so I'm like, he knows about it, like he just wanted me to say it. So I basically tell him, I'm like, dude, your bike is so cooked, but I can get it out of the creek if you want me to. And he's like, wait, can you? So basically me and my younger brother go down to the creek and spend about probably 3 hours getting it out because like I didn't just throw it into a creek, like I threw it off a bridge into a creek. I get it out of the creek and guess what? We break up before he can come and get it. So he never gets his bike back. Me and Peter like keep breaking up and getting back together, and every time we break up I throw it into the creek, and every time we get back together I'll take it out, and that happened multiple times. Also, I can insert a picture of what the bike looked by the end of this because it was cooked. It's basically my story, but if you want me to tell any more, I have so many stories about Peter and Ned, so.
Hey guys, get ready with me for dinner. Today I'm going out to dinner to celebrate my cousin graduating and also her birthday and her sister's birthday. Going to a steakhouse downtown and they have the best creme brulee. When I tell you guys, I've been watching creme brulee mukbangs for the past 2 hours to prepare myself. I'm not exaggerating. I did my hair before my makeup and I burned my face like right here. I don't know if you guys can tell since I just put my concealer on, but my face was like overly red. And what makes it even worse is it's like my problem area. Like I don't even sleep on that side a lot, but whenever I do, like I swear I wake up and my entire face just is breaking out, and it's so annoying because it's not on this side, only on this side. As I'm getting ready, I'm going to tell you guys reasons you should not be jealous of me. Number one, starting off strong, I don't have a mom. My mom died last year, and people think it's like the best comeback like in an argument, or like they make fun of me for it, and it's just like, I don't know, kind of insensitive, but it's whatever. Number two, I get made fun of like a lot, and a lot of rumors are made about me, and it's like kind of draining, but I just like stopped letting it get to me because I just know I can never win against people who don't like me because I can't do anything to make them like me. To focus on the rumors, like they never have any proof of what they're saying, but everyone just believes them anyways, and like it's ruined my friendships, my relationships, literally anything you can think of. I'm like known as a bop or whatever, and I just don't even really understand how I am, because like if I ask someone like, oh, how am I a bop, they bring something up that I did with one person, and then they like don't even like bring up the truth, they just bring up what they've heard. So it's like, how am I a bop if I've only like actually done stuff with one person and it's not true? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I also don't have a lot of friends. Like, I have my friends that I'm close with, but like, sometimes when I lose friends, it is my fault, but sometimes it's literally just because of the rumors, and they just don't want to, like, be seen, like, being my friend or, like, being, like, close to me, because they don't want people to start talking about them too. Another thing is, I kind of had, like, a stalker. Like, I would consider it a stalker. Like, I would, like, get messages, like, phone calls, and, like, it would be, like, someone telling me, like, what I was wearing or what I was doing, and then I'd block that number, and then they'd text me on another number the next day saying, you're wearing this, or you're doing this, or you're here, and it just freaked me out. But I'm pretty sure it was, like, one of my friends, but I asked everybody, and everyone was like, no, that's not me. What the... Also, another time, I made a TikTok with my friend, and this one girl that I had beef with, she commented "you" on it, and her comment got 50 likes, and I thought that was, like, kind of insane, because only, like, 300 people even viewed the TikTok. I don't even think I know 50 people from my school, so I really don't know who was commenting that. I'm gonna be honest, like, the majority of my friends are guys, but I don't purposely go out of my way to make friends with guys. I just, like, am sat next to them in a lot of my classes, and then I obviously have to talk to them, and then I become friends with them. So that's also why I have a lot of bop allegations, which I understand, like, where people are coming from with that, but I really dislike when they say, like, oh, like, you and your guy friend, like, did this and this and this, because I didn't. Also, not even gonna lie, most of my guy friends are gay, and people still say that I did stuff with them, so, like, make that make sense. One time, this really popular girl had a list of things that I've done, and why she didn't like me, and she, like, sent it to everybody, and one of the things was that I said the N-word when she was the one who said it, but I guess that means I said it too. And then also, like, something on that, she said, like, I told her my hair was curlier than it actually is, like, naturally, because, like, whenever I would wear my hair natural, I would straighten it every single day with no heat protectant while it was wet. So when I would wear it natural, it would obviously just be absolutely fried. Natural hair when it isn't fried is, like, 3A, because I am mixed. I know you guys can't tell. I'm, like, really white looking, but that's the only thing you can, like, tell by, and my mom was mixed. Oh yeah, people also like to say that my mom wasn't mixed, and when I show them, like, pictures of her, they're like, she's just tan. And when I show them pictures of her and my grandpa, her dad, who's fully black, they're like, isn't she adopted? No, she's not. Actually, I'm adopted, but I was adopted by my grandma. So people continuously say, well, your mom's black, but you're adopted, so you're not. But I was adopted by my family, and my biological mom is mixed, or was. But I just, like, don't understand that reasoning. Like, if you look at her obituary, it literally has my name in the, like, children's section. I also get called racist for wearing a bonnet, but I wear a bonnet because I have curly hair, and it, like, helps my hair not be more damaged. Like, that's what a bonnet's supposed to do. I didn't know that only one race could wear a bonnet. And also, one time I wore a bonnet to school because I was getting my hair done after school, and they told me, like, make sure it's, like, protected, make sure that, like, your hair, like, won't have anything gross in it. So I just put my bonnet on, and then I put my hood over my bonnet. Like, nobody could even tell until I took my hood down in gym, and they could see, like, the little pink of my bonnet. And I was like, oh, you're wearing a bonnet, you're wearing a bonnet. And so I took it off during gym, but then after gym, I put it right back on, and I left school. And then I started going around everywhere that was racist, which I just don't understand how I'm racist if I'm wearing a bonnet. And they also say that I lie about my race, and that I said I was, like, Mexican or something. I've never said I'm Mexican, ever. Like, I don't know where that came from. I genuinely don't, because I've never said that. I don't have, like, a single percentage of Hispanic in my blood. I don't know if you guys can tell, but, like, usually in mixed families, like, some of the children are, like, darker skinned than the other ones, and you can tell every single one of my siblings is mixed other than me. Like, I am literally like the whitest sibling. I'm the whitest person in my family, just on my mom's side, because again, we're all mixed. But like, I genuinely just don't look a part of my family. Also, everybody holds me to like such low standards, and I don't really understand why. But like, if I tell them that I like made an achievement, they just don't believe me. Even if I show them proof, they're just like, that's not even like something cool, or they're saying that I still made it up, which I just, it's like, I don't understand why I'm hated. It's literally only the people who don't know me who hate on me. I don't know a single person who I've like actually like opened up to who dislikes me. But everybody who doesn't know who I am just has a problem with me. So I just like don't see why, but that's why I'm like, when someone's hating on someone, I get to know the person first, and then I decide like, is this true? Like, are they actually a bad person? Oh, I'm also a people pleaser, and I have trouble telling people no. Like, even if it's something like, oh, like I need money and I barely have enough, but I still give it to them because I just feel bad. I'm gonna finish just my makeup off camera, and I'll see you guys in a second. Okay guys, the makeup is done. Now, time for the hair reveal. I'm just gonna ignore how the curls almost completely fell out, but I will see you guys when I put my dress on. Okay guys, here is the dress. I have some heels on too. I think the final product is pretty okay. It could be better, but here are the heels. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Okay, hi guys. I have a rant and I need to speed it up because I just tried to make this video, but I got too angry and exceeded the 10 minutes. Basically, I just came back from an interview. I'm super fed up right now. Let me speed it up. Okay, so I applied to a internship, which I don't even want to, I want to have a full-time job, but at this point I'm fucking desperate. So I applied for an internship for a construction company to be like an events marketing coordinator, and the job description sounded right up my alley. Like, I've already have 2 marketing internships on my resume. Like, I felt like I was pretty qualified for it. It was meant for like recent graduates, like everything on there I had experience in. So I was like, oh, this sounds good, this sounds perfect. And it was only a summer internship for 3 months, and I was like, I can do the summer internship, maybe get a job from there. If not, I'm at least adding experience to my resume, right? So I'm like excited about it. And like, if you don't know, the job market sucks right now, so like anything will do at this point. And so I apply to that position. I actually hear back, which never happens, so I'm super excited. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I get a message on Handshake, and she's like, I'm gonna call her E because I need to, like, I don't want to say her name, but like, I need to reference her a few times. So I get a message from E, and she's like, hey Lauren, thanks for your interest in blah blah blah. I'd like to invite you for an interview. And we schedule the interview for today. This was like a week ago. We scheduled the interview for today, and I had to ask her at the end of it. I was like, she was just like, okay, I've got you for 12 on blah blah blah, today's date. And I'm like, hey, so where am I going? I'm like, is this in person or on like a remote interview? And she's like, it's in person. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you're gonna send, I don't know. I just personally feel like, even though I can look up your company's like online, I feel like it's normal to like send the address of where I should be going, and I feel like I shouldn't have had to ask if it's remote or online. Like, I don't know, I just thought that was kind of weird personally to me. And so she says it's in person, and I'm like, I look up the address online, I'm like, hey, just want to clarify that this is the right location. No response. So I'm like, okay, what the fuck. But whatever. I'm like kind of like a little bit annoyed and like sussed out by that, but like whatever. So I hope for the best, and I go to that location today, this morning. And this is like a 40-minute drive also, by the way. So like, I'm using gas to get there. And like, I got all ready for it. Like, I just remembered I wanted to go to the gym. Okay, whatever. So I get there, and there's like a bunch of people applying. Like, I think like they're having all their interviews today. So there's like a bunch of people in the lobby. I go up to the front desk. I'm like, hey, I'm here for an interview at noon. She's like, what's your name? I'm like, Lauren. She's like, who are you here to see? I'm like, E. I've been talking with E on Handshake. And she's like, and what was your name? I'm like, Lauren. And she's like, not seeing a Lauren. And I'm like, great.
And she's like, do you have like, I believe you, but like, can you show me like your messages with her? And I'm like, yeah. So I show her messages with E telling me I have a spot at 12. She's like, okay, like we'll figure it out. I'm like, okay. And so then I'm like sitting there filling out their questionnaire. And as I'm like filling it out, I'm hearing like some of the guys that are doing interviews, I'm hearing them tell the front desk lady, they're like, where's E? And front desk lady is like, she left. What? She's like, yeah, she's gone. And so they're like, okay, who's doing the interview then? And she's like, well, one of you will probably have to then. And I'm like, guys, just include me in this convo. I'm right here. Like, I know it's about me. I know this play's about me, guys. So I'm like pissed off. I'm like, so bet I wasn't even scheduled. Wasn't even scheduled as an interviewee already. 2, the girl I'm supposed to be interviewing with isn't here. 3, I have to have like an interview with one of these random people that hasn't seen my resume, doesn't even know what I applied for probably. So I'm just kind of fed up. I'm sitting there, I'm like, should I just leave? Like, genuinely, should I just leave? Because I feel disrespected. And I'm like, no, like, I'll just go through with it. Interview experience, I could use it. So whatever. I get back there with this random guy, and this is just where I get really fed up because it's blatantly obvious that he has absolutely no idea what I applied for and didn't go through the hassle to figure it out either. So he's like, so what are you interested in? Hey, I'm interested in the position I applied for. That's what I'm interested in. And I'm telling him, I'm like, yeah, I'm interested in marketing, like communications. I was like a writing major, but like I liked the more communication route. So I had 2 marketing internships on my resume. So I've done social media stuff, communication, storytelling, like that's what I'm interested in. And he's like, okay, well, we have our call center and then our events marketing. And I'm like, okay. And then he's going on and on about the call center. It's literally just cold calls basically. And I'm like, why are you telling me this? Like, I don't care. This isn't what I want to do. And then he's talking about the events and he's like, yeah, we basically just go to like Sam's Club and set up a booth and then like sell. It's like sales. And I'm like, what? I'm just confused because everything he's talking to me about has nothing to do with the internship that I like. None of it was similar. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he never referenced the internship, like never brought that up. So I'm like, I genuinely don't think he knows I applied for that internship. So he's going on and on about like, oh, if you're in the call center for at least 6 months, then you can like move up to this position and then you can make a shit ton of money. And I'm like, what are you talking about right now? 6 months? Like I applied for a 3-month internship. Like what? That had nothing to do with sales. So I'm sitting there mute as fuck because I'm annoyed. I'm like, I shouldn't have to explain to you what I applied for. I don't feel like spelling it out for you. So I'm just sitting there like just waiting for this interview to be over with because I'm like done. I feel disrespected and like this is super unprofessional. So yeah, he keeps going on and on about sales and I'm like, don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And then at the end he's like, so is this something you're interested in? And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I was like, to be like, I think I handled it professionally, but I also wanted to be direct and assertive and be like, honestly, you guys fucked up. I was like, to be completely transparent with you, this whole interview had nothing to do with what I applied for, the job I applied for. This whole interview was talking about sales and I applied to be like an event marketing coordinator, which nothing in the job description was mentioning sales. It was all like, it was talking about newsletters and feature stories and vendor coordination and social media. And he was like, oh yeah, like he is like building that program up like so that in a few years like we will have people that are doing like newsletters, social media stuff. I'm like, what do you mean you will have people? I was trying to be people. I could be people. Like what? I'm like, so why is that the description right now if you want me to go if I don't even know what I'm saying, but like, why is that the job description if that's not what I would be doing at all? So I also still don't know if he even knows what I applied for. Like, I feel like there was just so much miscommunication on only his end. I knew what I was there for, but I wasn't about to spell it out for him. Like, you should know. So I'm just really fucking annoyed. That whole experience really pissed me off. I thought it was so unprofessional, waste of my time. I drove 40 minutes to do that. Like, I just felt super disrespected. And like, as somebody in the service industry, not that this is like correlates, it kind of does though. Like, if you fuck up, even if you feel like, oh, it was an honest mistake, whatever, apologize. Like, nobody said, I'm not saying I need an apology for everything. Like, I don't need your apology, but it could at least be like nice at some points. Like, I didn't even get an apology, like, for not even being scheduled on for an interview. Like, that pissed me off. Like, you easily could have just been like, hey, so sorry that you weren't scheduled. Like, we will definitely like find a time, like find some room for you. Like, sorry about that. Like, I don't know. Just like admit accountability, like, bro. And then like the guy easily could have been like, I'm so sorry that E wasn't here to interview you, but like, I'm happy to meet you. And like, at least known what I applied for. Like, it just, I just expect the same like accountability and respect from people that I give in my job, even though they're not similar at all, but still, like, from an actual like company who's in the middle of interviewing people and you fuck up and you don't take accountability for that, and then you just waste my time with an interview that has nothing to do with what I applied for, and then I'm reaching my limit again. I'm so annoyed. So back to serving and bartending it is. Woo!
I'm bored, so let's talk about the worst date that I've ever been on that was so bad and made me go on a 2-month dating hiatus because I was so shocked by the audacity of men. Anyway, I am doing this blind date party. There are 15 guys, 15 girls. We're all randomly assigned. I'm assigned with this tall guy who's like country, so it's like, oh, I love a tall man. And he's country, like, he's gonna have manners, like, it's gonna be totally fine. Like, at least will be like a fun story. And it is a fun story for everyone else. Basically, he picks me up and he's 15 minutes late, which is fine. I am chronically late. Like, I have horrible directional skills. Like, I'm so directionally challenged, like, it's bad. And I fully know that and I'm working on it. But he is too. So I'm like, that's totally fine. Like, I get it. I get it. So everyone's left. He comes and picks me up and he seems nice. And I love a chivalrous man. I love a chivalrous man. I don't know if that's a word, but I love it. And we're walking to the car, and he's walking to the passenger side of the car. So it's like, oh my gosh, like, he's gonna open the door for me. I love this. I love it. He swings the door open, grabs a pile of stuff off the passenger seat, and literally chunks it in the back, and just walks off. It's like, oh, like, thanks for opening the door. And I hop in the car, and then I shut the door. And I'm like, okay, like, he's probably nervous, like, it's totally fine, like, not a big deal. For context, this was an hour and a half. So we are at the house, the guy picks us up, takes us on a date, and an hour and a half later, we are back at the house for like a girls' night kind of thing. And the guys were supposed to have a plan for the date and execute that plan. And every other guy did. We start driving, and he doesn't say anything. So a minute goes by, a minute or two, and I'm like, so, like, where are we going? He says, I don't have a plan. So, okay, that's totally fine. I was like, are you thinking like activity? Are we thinking dinner? Because it's like 7 o'clock, I think, at this point. He's like, I don't know, I don't care. And I was like, okay, let's do dinner. He's like, all right, sounds good. I was like, so where do you want to go? Like, do you have any favorite places? Like, I'm super open. And he was like, I don't go out to eat. Okay, that's totally fine. So we're driving by and I see a Mod Pizza sign. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, there's a Mod Pizza. Do you want to go there? And he said, that would require me to turn the car around, and I'm not going to do that. Okay, like, I see how this is gonna be. So I'm kind of ready to go home at this point, but the date just started. We're driving and we finally decide on a Mexican restaurant because he did say no to all of my other ideas. So we end up at this, like, deciding on this Mexican restaurant. We're driving there and I say something that is apparently a little dingy. Like, I don't even remember. It was so insignificant that, like, I have no clue what I said. And he looks at me and he's like, kind of blonde moon, aren't ya? And I don't like that joke, but I was like, you know what, like, I'll play along. It's totally fine. Like, I just met this guy. And I was like, oh, like, not even a natural blonde. And he said, yeah, it's all that bleach getting to your head. And he says it like that. Like, it's not in, like, a joking tone. It's in, like, yeah, you have issues tone. It's a little aggressive. And I was like, okay. So I try and change the subject. And then he changes the subject to, what does your dad do for work? So, okay. And then proceeds to ask how much my dad makes. And I was like, no, we're not playing that game. That's that's not happening tonight. Then again, he's like, you're having a blonde moment. I was like, no, I'm not. On this date, like, let's just jump forward for a second. He tells me 7 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times that I'm having a blonde moment. And it ends with an argument. It ends with us in the restaurant. And don't worry, we're gonna go back to the rest of the day, but let's just finish this really quick. I genuinely started to think that he thought something was wrong with me. So I look at him, and we're in the middle of dinner, and I was like, I just want you to know, like, I'm totally, like, fully there. Like, I'm totally fine. Like, no need to worry. Like, I'm all good. He then doesn't believe it. And he says, well, tell me this. How long have you been dyeing your hair? I was like, well, not that that's relevant, but 4 years. And he was like, yeah, so the bleach gets into your bloodstream, and, like, you're definitely, like, not okay. What? Who says that? I'm rarely left speechless, but, like, that genuinely left me speechless. Okay, let's go back to the rest of the day. So we park to go to the Mexican restaurant, and we're walking to the restaurant. Every single tree he sees, he's picking leaves off the trees. Picking leaves off the trees! Picking them! And I was like, okay, but, like, we all have our things. We all have our things. Like, who am I to judge? Like, that's totally fine. I have my things. Like, it's okay. Okay, so we walk into the restaurant, and we end up getting seated by a booth, and he's, like, pumped about this booth. He's like, oh, we're getting a booth. And I was like, yeah. Because I love a booth too. Like, I get the enthusiasm. So we sit down, and we meet our waitress. She's super sweet, and she gets our drink order. As soon as she, like, leaves with the drink order, he's like, she's gonna get it wrong. I was like, what? And he's, like, kind of, like, laughing at her and making fun of her. I was like, like, we don't do that. Like, no. So, like, mental note. I'm already, like, But by this point, I'm already, like, seriously checked out, because I'm like, this is just not going well already. But that's okay. We're gonna sit it out. And, like, maybe he's just nervous. Maybe he's having a moment. We all have our moments. So then we start chit-chatting, and he's like, well, did you come in as a psychology major? I was like, no, I actually came in as a special education major. And I, like, absolutely love that, and I still love it, but ended up finding a different career path that I really love and am super excited to pursue. He then proceeds to tell me about his neighbor, okay? And tells me verbatim, I love special people. And I'm like, oh, baby, no. We do not sit, like, the intent was correct. He really had, I think he came from a good place, and we're gonna go with that. Then he proceeds to make fun of this person. And I was like, that is where I draw the line. Absolutely not. And then starts making fun of Hispanics. I'm Hispanic. Granted, you wouldn't know that. But what? And we're in this Mexican restaurant, and there's this Hispanic couple sitting behind him in the booth. So they are, like, back to back. He then is, like, mimicking an accent, turns around to them, says, oh, sorry about that, and turns around, and then continues. I am sitting there, like, I literally want to just disintegrate. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then the waitress brings our drinks back and then walks away, because, like, we weren't ready to, like, order yet. 2 minutes later, he looks at me, he's like, have we ordered dinner yet? And I was like, I don't know what date you've been on, but I haven't ordered dinner, because I'm just done at this point. He gets up and storms off to go find this waitress. This poor waitress, who was being so kind. I'm livid. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, there's no way that just happened. And this sweet waitress comes from behind me, and she's like, hey, like, you ready to order? I was like, oh, like, yes, like, he'll be right back. He comes back, he's like, oh, good, she's here. And I was like, okay. We order, that happens, whatever. And then he wants to sit at the end of the meal and, like, keep talking. I'm like, oh, like, it's almost been an hour and a half. Like, we really need to get back to the house. So we get in the car, and he's like, oh, by the way, like, I'm a bad driver. And I was like, oh, I've kind of noticed, but whatever. And we're driving. There's a red light, okay? Red light. He pulls up. He stops at the red light at a major intersection. This is a 4-way intersection. Stops. Then proceeds to floor it. And, like, laugh maniacally. I'm like, what? I'm screaming. Because I'm like, no, this is not how I die. This is not it. I'm not dying in a car with this man. We survive. Then we pull up to the house. He then pulls up and like stops the car. So like there are like parking spots like this. He's parked like this, and he just like stops for a second. And he wants to chit chat. I have never flown out of a car faster. Literally never flown out of the car faster. I like undo my seatbelt. My seatbelt is slamming against the door, and I run. Like I'm just like, oh, thank you for dinner. Run. Nice to meet you. Like screaming this as I run away. Okay, he leaves. I don't give him a chance to get my Instagram, Snapchat number, nothing. So I think that's the end of it. Because how could you think that went good? How do you think that was a good date? Then an hour later, maybe 2 hours later, I get an Instagram DM request from an account, and it is him. And he was like, hey, I had a great time tonight. I said, thank you for dinner. And I never follow him back. So yeah, I then took a break from dating because I was just like, there's no way. There's no way. So yeah.
I hate waking up early, but I love having a reason to think I'm better than everyone else.
There's been this drama going around on TikTok, and every time I think about it, I just start getting irritated as fuck. So basically, there's this girl on TikTok. I don't honestly remember how big she is because I don't want to get on her profile and give her more engagement. But she is known, I guess, essentially for making these, like, cafe reviews. Like, she lives in New York, and she goes around to, like, little coffee shops and cafes in New York, tries their coffee, and reviews them. So she decides she's going to review this place called Kawaii Cafe. I think she posts a little bit of footage, like, of the cafe itself, and then it's literally just her like taking a sip of the drink and being like, this shit's awful, this is the worst coffee I've ever had in New York, like this is the worst coffee, I hate this coffee, it's a sugar bomb in my mouth. She says a bunch of stuff like that. It barely even tastes like coffee, it's so bad, blah blah blah. So I think some of her fans start leaving bad reviews or something, or commenting on the coffee shop's TikTok because somehow they catch wind of it, and the owner hops on TikTok and makes this video and is basically like, I'm not against taking criticism, like I'm perfectly fine and I like to hear criticism so I know how I can, you know, like make the experience better for customers, but I really don't think that's our coffee. And she basically proceeds to share how the cup isn't their cup, which I think even people who saw the TikTok realized, because the cup, in my opinion at least, has like a very unique look to it. Like it has a really high like spout for like a sippy lid, you know? So yeah, it's a unique looking cup, and that's not the type of cups that Kawaii Cafe uses. The lids that they have look more like a Starbucks sippy lid, where it's just kind of like a rim around one side, but this one has like a spout. That's the best way I can describe it. So people are already realizing the cups don't look similar, which is true. 2, you can see in the video the girl is hiding a sleeve behind the cup, a black cup sleeve. Keep that in mind. And 3, also there's a black straw that is sticking out of the cup, and the lady who posted TikTok, the owner of the store, I'm pretty sure, she's saying like, we don't even use black straws, we've never used black straws, that's not our cup. And you might just be like, okay, well, how am I supposed to believe you? Or like, how do we know that this wasn't just like you ran out of the type of cups and straws that you use and this was, you know, a temporary fix? But she goes on to say that, you know, she still thought somehow that could be, maybe this could be our coffee. So she goes through the whole entire list of transactions that day. She goes and talks to every single one of her employees that was working that day and asks if they recognize the girl. She even goes through all of the footage from their cameras in the store. She was never seen in the store. And, you know, like maybe you could just write that off as like a Keith Lee type of thing where like he always sends somebody else in to get the coffees. But I don't think she does anything like that. She always goes in herself, number 1. And number 2, that being paired, like the fact that she was never in the store, paired with the fact that none of the cup, the sleeve, the straw don't match Kawaii Cafe's like stuff that they use, it all just is suspicious, obviously. So she just goes on to say that. She's basically like, I don't think this was from our coffee store. Like, again, I'm open to taking criticism, but that's just not our coffee. Like, it isn't. And then people start doing some digging and they realize that the cup, the straw, and the sleeve, the black sleeve, all match the stuff that they use at another cafe that is nearby called, like, I think it's called Blackwell Coffee maybe. And so they're like, okay, so basically she went and got this other coffee and then she's lying and saying that she had this, like, Kawaii Cafe's coffee instead. and is giving them a bad review when she didn't even try it. And also, like, the footage from the cafe, like the lady said, she wasn't in the store at all, so, but there's footage, like, of the cafe, so the lady thinks that she, like, filmed the cafe from outside, like, took videos through the windows or something. I'm not sure. It was kind of unclear, but somehow she was never in the cafe, but she had footage of the cafe. So yeah, they think she just walked by and, like, took videos of it from outside and then pretended she was, like, inside and blah, blah, blah. So now everybody's like, okay, what the fuck is going on here? Because why is she lying about getting their coffee if she didn't? Like, she's literally drinking another source coffee and lying on this cafe's name, saying she had it and it was bad, blah, blah, blah. So then people start accusing her of being partnered with this other coffee place, the Blackwell Coffee, because supposedly, I guess, she's given a lot of cafes, like, pretty harsh, bad reviews, but I think she had reviewed Blackwell before, and she said, like, she liked it or something. There was something like that to where, like, she had given them a good review or blah, 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 so people believed that she was partnered with them and, like, intentionally giving other cafes bad reviews to make them look better, like, oh, don't go to this place, it sucks, but then, you know, like, another cafe nearby, Blackwell, she's like, oh, it's amazing, I love it. So yeah, people are thinking, like, she's partnered with them to essentially up their business by making other businesses look bad, because she didn't even fucking buy coffee from the cafe. So then, you know, people, as they do, they escalate things too far. They go to this other cafe's TikTok and start commenting on them, like, hating on them and accusing them of hiring her. And then that coffee company has to also come forward, and they comment on Kawaii Cafe stuff, and they're like, hey, a lot of people are saying that, like, we were involved with this, blah, blah, blah. They said we would never do something like that. Like, we're not going to tear down other small businesses, other small cafes. We understand how hard it is. Like, and honestly, like, this whole thing has ruined 2 small businesses, because Kawaii Cafe, you know, initially got the heat because she was saying the coffee was bad. And now we're getting heat for no reason because people think that we're paying her to do this. We're not. So they're like, by lying, she has ruined 2 small businesses' reputations. And Kawaii Cafe even liked their comment, and they're basically just like, yeah, we did not hire her. We don't know why she would even do that, like, why she would lie and have our coffee and pretend it's yours. It's actually damaging our reputation, too, that she did this, because now people think we're, like, evil villains. So now it's pretty much just like, okay, so she just lied to lie, like, blah, blah, blah. But I've seen some people kind of doubt that and think that Blackwell is just obviously trying to cover their tail or something, because people got mad at them for, like, hiring her. But I really do believe them, because I've seen people like, oh, well, then why would she lie about it? For views, obviously. Like, I believe both the companies, and I feel bad for them, because, okay, I have experience with this. People are like, oh, well, why would she lie? Why would she lie about that? Like, she's probably getting paid to do this by Blackwell. No, she's lying. There's an obvious answer. She's lying because it gets her views. Like, as food reviewers and, like, that type of influencer that do, like, reviews and that type of stuff, negative reviews get them more views. And that's just the truth, unfortunately. You know, if somebody's just like, wow, I had a good experience here, you know, the video might do okay, or it might do semi-well. But if they're like, oh, this was awful, I hated it, like, this, everything was overpriced and it didn't even taste good, oh, the staff was rude. Like, if they're giving a review like that, people are going to be more drawn to it, engage more, interact more, like, all of that stuff. So yes, negative reviews get people more views, and she probably thought she was smart by double timing it. She goes to one coffee store, only has to buy one coffee, reviews it, and then makes this fake second review without having to even purchase anything, you know? Like, she probably thought she was smart and slick for that. Plus, you know, she's lying and making it negative, so then she's getting more attention for it. Because, like I said, people are more drawn to negativity. So she probably just thought she was slick and she was saving a few bucks and getting herself more views, but obviously people caught on. And thankfully, the owner of the store came forward to shut it down, because it wasn't even their fucking cup. I feel like people act like this isn't a possibility, but it literally is, and I have firsthand experience with it, because some of you may have seen my story before, some of you may have not, but I made a TikTok because I work at, like, a restaurant, and there's this guy who isn't even a big influencer, literally only has, like, maybe 10K, and he has lied about our restaurant so many times. Like, I made a whole TikTok about how I have, like, one-sided beef with him, essentially, because he has, like, made bad reviews about us and bad reviews about, like, other businesses and small businesses and everything. And he admittedly says it's because it gets him more views. When he says bad stuff about places, he gets more views. So he will just say bad shit about everybody because it benefits him. Like, he doesn't really care how he's affecting the businesses unless they pay him or give him stuff for free. And that's the God honest truth, because seriously, like, he's just a piece of shit, and that's how a lot of them are. They don't actually care about reviewing the food and blah blah blah. They don't care about integrity. They don't care about helping businesses out. They care about views, and the way for them to get views is to say negative stuff, because that's what attracts people. So yeah, all these people like kind of acting like that isn't a possibility. I'm just like, oh, it 100% is. Pisses me off so bad, because it's like, literally, how about instead of using negativity to attract an audience, how about you use your fucking personality? Like, have a personality and use that. You know, even if the review is positive and it's not maybe, like, interesting per se, because it's just a nice little, oh, I like this cafe, like, the stuff was good, blah, blah, blah. If you have a personality, that won't be an issue. Just a normal positive review can still get attention if you add personality and like humor to it, you know? Like if you do funny editing, or you're just a funny person in general, or you just have like good commentary to add to it, that will get you views in itself. You don't need to fucking lie about small businesses, make shit up about them just to get yourself views. Like, it's just so fucking shitty. Like, literally ruining the reputation of a small minority owned business to benefit your fucking social media presence. Like, it actually makes me fucking sick. It makes me sick. But, oh, I bet if they would have given you a latte for free, all of a sudden it would have been, oh, I love this place. This place was so good. It's the best coffee I've ever had. You didn't even fucking drink the coffee. You didn't spend a single dollar in their store. You didn't try a single thing in their store. And you're out here posting, oh, I hate their coffee. It's so bad. It's so sugary. Bitch, get out of my face. Like I said, if you want views, you want engagement, just be interesting. Just be interesting. You don't have to lie about a small business. Piss me off. Bye.